Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. Review time! And through a somewhat unfortunate set of events, something good is uncovered. A real grab bag of goodies which I am pleased to delve into and on close inspection heartily recommend. Titled Alders Anthology of the Abstruse, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons homebrew supplement and available right now on the Dungeon Masters Guild, link down below in the video description. This quite large assortment of races, classes, feats, equipment, spells and beasts reminds me a bit of the gems you can find in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And as a pay what you want PDF on the Dungeon Masters Guild, at over 100 pages, it's pretty good. Keeping in mind that this is being worked on while the more recent Wizards of the Coast source books were yet to be reprinted. So there's a tiny bit of overlap here and there, such as the listing for the Triton race as player characters, but it's an interesting comparison between the two different versions. Also, there's a shard mind in there as well, which I don't think has been featured anywhere yet. For those of you who are thinking of an undersea campaign, there is the humanoid Aquans, the half siren who has the power to charm, and also a fishy shape-shifting trait that has the potential for absolute hilarity. And the Triton, of course, those noble paragons of fishy justice. These ones have some traits that give them some more power over elemental air and water. In the bestiary, there is also the Kappa and the Bunyip, which are very good aquatic additions. Mind you, the Kappa are more sort of amphibious, you could say, monsters. They're from Japanese folklore. The monster listings are good, though the format could do with a bit of condensing down just on the printing requirements, because I go through a lot of paper when I print out this stuff. For those of you who'd like to create hard copy for use at the table, the equipment and spells and items in particular are very handy and will take pride of place in your DM's binder, I can assure you. Also, a minor gripe that I have is that the index could do with a bit more expansion to include some other hot links or bookmarks within the PDF, so you can easily click to the section you want to go to without having to scroll through it, as well as listing the sub-races and equipment pages, poisons and spells, as well as some of the page numbers for the various monsters. But I just have a thing for a well-referenced source book, so I'm going to chalk it up to personal bias. The rest of the goodies in this book more than outweigh the slight negative of that. The new spells have some good illusion magic, which I think fills some gaps, and the utility and conjuration spells are quite a standout favourite for me. I'm going to be using some of those games in my games for sure. However, the equipment section is outstanding, and more on that in a moment. There are a number of other race options that are very good. The Ratatosk, because who doesn't want to play a squirrel paladin from the Asgardian world tree? This is the best build as a player character that you will find on the internet. You can tell because people stole it, the sneaky rodents. The Myconid player characters build is one of the sorely needed additions for any Underdark or Deep Jungle campaign, and there's a couple of brand new concepts that quite struck my fancy. One is the Lightless, who are essentially entities of the void, who are not actually evil, they're just curious critters who take on humanoid form to better experience life in the material planes. They're quirky and cool and quite well balanced with their abilities. Also, there's the unfortunate offspring of hags and mortal men called the Crones, who I think would make very memorable warlocks and necromancers. We also have 3 sub-races of satyrs, the charming fauns, the nature-loving Cernus, and the goat-headed warlike Ibicus. And this is great because if you're a fan of Warhammer Fantasy and you want to play a goat-headed type satyr type creature, also if you've ever played Diablo, the original Diablo, you fight a lot of those things. We have some more fey folk. The Pixie is here, as well as the offspring of treants and dryads called the Sylvans, because I think we need more plant-based races. There is also a much-needed expansion of the Tabaxi with 2 sub-races, which is actually more supportive of the background lore of the Mazdak and Tabaxi. So it's more canonical. So we have the cultivated, more civilization-oriented and house cat-like Felinian, also the lion-like hunter-gatherer Leonians, who are just damn impressive looking. And that's supported in the original lore of the Tabaxi with these. They've got an offspring branch which is more hunter-gatherer, sort of tooth and claw, and they have some problems with some demonic heritage in their leadership. Animals get a much-needed template for those who have been magically awakened, with a set of guidelines for how you can turn your preferred natural creatures into viable player characters and some of the difficulties they may face, which again is very supportive of good story-based character builds, which I heartily approve of. There's also a smaller, more intelligent, smart chimp version of the 4-armed apes, which are called Ukon, descendants of Ogrelins. Character builds get some options, well, a load of options, such as selecting a specific class path instead of one of the more generic background options. So those who decide to become a paladin have the option to have trained for it their whole life, which when you think about it is a niche that really needed to be filled. And there's paths for all the different character class with special abilities and traits that come with them, which make a lot of sense. There's also a lot of really good stuff in this section. New bard colleges, new druid circles, new cleric domains, new barbarian options. This stuff alone could make for a bunch of standalone products, but it's all condensed here into this anthology for you. There is also some pretty crazy stuff that may not be to everyone's liking, but I've certainly seen other builds for dragon riding dragoons, for instance, and there's the time and space bending chrononaut fighter option, which would fit snugly into a Planescape or Eberron campaign, I imagine. There's even a build in here for players who want to become Death Knights or Witches. So I've really only scratched the surface. There's a hell of a lot more in there for you to uncover for yourself. Loads and loads of content for every single class. Fully 46 full pages of class options. Awesome bang for your buck. The section on new feats is mainly skill-based, with a new Beast Companion feat that fills a niche in the game I think needed to be filled, as well as some artificing and firearm feats, which are very handy if you're leaping directly into an Eberron campaign world setting, in particular right now. But the equipment section, oh my word. Expanded and useful details, better systems for working with foodstuffs, healer kits, loads of adventure gear, and one of my favourite categories, the poisons, toxins, and alchemical items. This is an absolute standout of this PDF. There are some absolute gems in here that are well worth picking this PDF up for alone. There is a complete list of alchemical items with the source books that they come listed alongside them. There is Cavefisher blood, there's Flumph mucus, there's Black Dragon acid, there's sticks of dynamite, Tanglefoot bags, Thunderstones, Bone Devil venom, Gorillion adrenaline shots, Aboleth mucus. All of these things have been added here, are fully detailed in the same format as you'll find in the player's handbook, so they're completely usable and they're very well referenced. It's an absolute standout section. There's at least 37 new magic items though. I should mention that it should be mentioned in the book just how dangerous it is to own a unicorn horn. I think I'll just mention that to you, Taryn. Maybe that could be an addendum that you should put in there. That, by the way, unicorn horns were awesome, but a lot of good creatures will kill you on sight for having one. There's also an expanded weapon list with loads of new firearms and exotic weapons, which definitely needs a good look at. The bestiary is certainly something you should always check first in any book, taking a good look at it to see if it is anything not quite right. But either I failed my perception check or all of this looks totally fine. The Clockwork Horrors, the critters, fill a niche for the artificers your players may create using other rules in this book, so it's well supporting itself within its own pages and would serve as great wildlife for the plane of Mechanus. All in all, I'm giving this anthology 2 thumbs up and the Mighty Glue Stick seal of approval as being table ready and a damn good read. My congratulations to Taryn Pounds for authoring such an excellent resource. I'm looking forward to the next product you bring to the DM's Guild, man. Well done. Just a reminder, if you have not subscribed already, feel free to do so and be sure to hit that notification bell as I upload from the other side of the world sometime in your future. For access to all of the scripts and 1 week advanced access to these videos, consider becoming a patron of the channel on Patreon for a minimum of just $1 per month. Join the community on our Discord server. Come say hi. The pun wars are about they're ramping up. People are discussing pun daily. Also, if you want to pick up a new video game at a significant daily discount and help me out in the process, check out the daily deal on Chrono. Also, check out the affiliate link to Patron Blades if you want to get a smooth shave at a discounted rate with a monthly package of your choice. You'll give me some kickback with that too, and I can hardly recommend that because I wouldn't have tried it unless I had contacted them and found out for myself. And I can assure you it is really a good product. Stay tuned for exciting announcements about a future podcast coming up for the Mighty Glue Stick, featuring my best buddy Ian, who has been role-playing for the last 19 years, the last 10 years of that in close proximity to me. We've shared many stories, so we're going to be bringing you a lot of our experience, practical experience and stories and theories and things like that in the form of a podcast, because you've asked me to do a podcast and this is the best way that I can think of to do it, because I don't want to just talk into a microphone by myself for an hour or so. It's much better if you sit down and listen to the conversation which two people who live and breathe Dungeons and Dragons are having with each other. So I think it's well worth it. As always, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll be back with more for you very soon.